That night, I was alone at home, enjoying the silence with a cup of tea, listening to the rain gently tapping on the window. Suddenly, I heard a faint rustle from the other room. My heart started to race as the realization hit me. Someone was in my house. With hesitant steps, I moved toward the sound, and there he was, a stranger standing in my living room. Panic flooded over me, and I instinctively opened my mouth to scream, but he moved quickly, covering my mouth with his hand. In that moment, the initial fear was replaced by something else entirely, a feeling I couldn't quite understand. As his hand covered my mouth, a strange warmth radiated from his touch. It was both comforting and bewildering. The idea of a stranger in my house should have terrified me, yet there was something about his presence that calmed me in a way I couldn't explain. After a few seconds, he slowly removed his hand, stepping back to give me space. In his eyes, I saw a flash of regret, and somehow, I couldn't look away. My initial fear faded, replaced by a strange curiosity, and I found myself wondering who this man really was. For a few moments, we just looked at each other. My heart was still racing, but now it wasn't from fear. It was from the intensity of his gaze. "Why are you here?" I finally asked, my voice barely steady. He took a deep breath, his eyes never leaving mine. "I think I made a mistake," he murmured, almost as if he were talking to himself. His answer took me by surprise, making me question everything I had assumed about him. At that moment, our connection felt undeniable, as if we were two strangers sharing a moment that neither of us could have anticipated. The longer we talked, the more my initial fear melted away. His name was Mark, and as he spoke, I realized he wasn't just a thief. He was someone searching for something, even if he didn't know what it was. The pull I felt toward him was growing stronger with each word he said. There was a part of me that wanted to step closer, to understand this man who, against all odds, made me feel safe in his presence. His touch, which should have been unsettling, was comforting, revealing just how powerful this connection was. As Mark and I continued to gaze at each other, the silent pull between us grew. I took a step closer, drawn in by the way he looked at me. In his eyes, I saw a mix of sadness and warmth that touched something deep within me. I wanted to close the distance between us, to lean into this strange feeling building in my chest. We remained silent, but in that stillness, everything was being said without words. Standing there with him, I felt an unusual mix of security and vulnerability. Slowly, I reached out and took his hand, feeling a rush of warmth as his fingers touched mine. My heart was pounding, not from fear, but from an intense curiosity and excitement. Being with him made me feel both protected and thrilled, a strange but beautiful feeling I hadn't experienced in a long time. This quiet moment was perfect, one that I wanted to hold on to forever. As Mark leaned in, I felt my breath catch. His hands gently reached for my face, and the soft touch sent a wave of warmth through me. Time seemed to stop, with just the two of us, and this shared moment between us. When our lips met, it felt like all the emotions I had been holding back finally poured out. That kiss left an unforgettable mark on me, a moment I knew would stay with me forever. In that instant, I chose to let go of everything else and simply exist in this connection. As dawn's first light filtered into the room, there was a quiet bond left between Mark and me. We didn't need to put words to it. The weight and beauty of what we'd shared was clear in our final glance. He gently held my hand, his eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you," he whispered, as if we had shared more than just a fleeting moment. When he walked out the door, I felt both a profound peace and a bittersweet longing. I knew that Mark had left an unexpected and unforgettable mark on my life.